Hello everybody, welcome back. Today I'm going to be discussing another very relevant team for round one, that is the Sydney Sixers, who have a double game round. Alright, but before we get into that, join my open league, or LOL as I'm going to call it from now on, 852371, and also join the Podmasters vs Public League, where you can take on other content creators as well as myself. The number for that is 637845, and the winner can get a Supercoach ring. Alright, so let's get into it. Now, looking at the Sydney Sixers fixture, so as I mentioned before, they've got the round one double game. Alright, and then they've got a few singles, then round 5 they have a bye, round 6 they have another double game, another single, another bye, and then they finish off with another double game round. So, yeah, might be a lot of trading in and out the same players from the Sydney Sixers, I think. All right, so the question I've been asked is, how many Hurricanes, how many Sixers do we start? My response has been, like, say, 5 or 6 Hurricanes. You know, you don't trade them out because they've got the round 3 double. But, yeah, you can trade out your Sydney Sixers to either a Sydney Thunder or a Brisbane Heat player. All right, so that's my suggestion. All right, doesn't mean I'm right, but yeah, that's probably what I'll be looking to do. All right, so now let's have a look at some players here. We've got, starting off with the wicketkeeper batsman, we've got Josh Philippe at 109.6k. Pretty sure we've had him, a lot more expensive in previous seasons. Like I said earlier in other videos, that there's quite a lot of value this year. He'll open the batting. He should get some catches, some stumpings, dismissals and all that sort of thing. He got averaged 41.6 from his 9 games last year. He's going to open the batting. And so right now he is my wicketkeeper at the moment. So, but just for the video's sake, I'm just going to put in highly consider. Alright. But yeah, he's close to a lock for me. Next, we've got Lochs. He averaged 14 from his 5 games last year, and he comes in at rookie priced at 58.5k. And Sydney, I usually like to have a loophole player as my wicketkeeper. There's not many options this year at the moment. Lochs, might not play, but Sydney Sixers, they play in the first game, I believe, of round one. So, he's not much used as a loop. But we've got options for another loop, which I'll go through in a future video. All right, so for me, Lochs is a pass. Now, hopefully we can get another, cheap rookie non-playing keeper. All right, but at the moment, there is none. All right, moving on to the batsman only. All right, so not too much here. Well, actually, there is, but I don't usually like to pick bat onlys, just because they might only bat, not bowl. If they don't take a catch, if they only bat and make a duck, that's could be game over for them. You just get stuck with a 0. So it's the reason why I do that. All right, so starting off, Steve Smith, 222.4k. Averaged 84.3 from his 3 games after the test series was done. So obviously we're not going to be able to start him. So what my comment be? Look later on in the season. All right, so Steve Smith, a guy of his caliber playing in this league, every time he's come back, he's scored runs. So he's definitely one that I'll be looking at, especially in that last game we've got there, round 9, the double. All right, next we've got Babar Azam, the Pakistani player. Gun bat. I've seen him in quite a few teams, and there's probably a good reason for that. He's one that I'll consider him, but what's stopping me is, I've had, players in the past, like your De Cox, your Faf de Pussies, for example. Gun bats expensive, and just coming into Australian conditions, just haven't fired, and they've lost a lot of cash and not scored a lot of points. So I am wary of that. but yeah, I think I will. I'll still consider, but might be a pass. I could be proven wrong. But yeah, I'll consider him. I'm not going to completely rule him out, but yeah, no. Not for me at this stage. All right, next we've got Daniel Hughes, who comes in at 117.5k somehow from an average of 0 from his one game. He bat like 3, 4, won't bowl. Yeah, there's guys that bat and bowl at the same price, so for me, it's going to be a pass. All right, next we've got Jordan Silk at cheap at 63.3k. If you're looking for a cheaper option. But he only averaged 24 from his 9 games last year because he bats that 5, 6 and doesn't bowl. Can take a nice catch, as we've seen in the past. But, 63k, I'm going to pass. Like I said, batter only. Don't really like going with those guys. All right, moving on to the bowlers only. All right, so quite a few guys here. Jeez, I can't even fit them all on the page. All right, so first off, we've got Benny Dwarshus, priced at 146.8k, averaged 57.9. Had a pretty good year last year. One thing from that's Ben Dwarshus, I've noticed he's been sent up the order a few times last year, and he can definitely hit a ball. And that means more bonus points on top of his bowling, all right, which is quite good also. So here's one for me. Look, I could say highly consider, but I reckon he's a lock. He'll bowl like lock. There we go. So he'll bowl, open surge, death bowling as well. So pretty good roll, Benny Dwarshus. Sean Abbott. Well, a few days ago, I was going to say, he's in the test squad, so we won't be able to pick him. This guy, he's been priced in the past at over 200k, and he's a guy that I've always somehow not been able to get in my side, and he's absolutely killed me. But he absolutely just bowls death and gets these cheap wickets at the end, 2, 3. The wickets can hit the ball as well. But unfortunately, he's injured his hammy. So will he even be back for the start of the Big Bash season? Not quite sure. So, surely he wouldn't be. Would he be back in the test squad after that? So, at the moment, I'm just going to write unavailable. He's actually in my side at the moment, but I'm going to get him out. All right, unavailable. I think that's how you spell unavailable. Anyway, all right, so keep an eye out on him. All right, Kane Richardson, who's come across from the Melbourne Renegades, he's come in at 89.7k, averaged 34 last year from his 7 games. So he is a guy that gets managed a bit. He has a bit of a rest. But if you're going to pick him at the start, you only need him for round 1. Will he get rested at the start of the year? I don't think so. But I do think there are better options. So right now, I'm just going to say I'm going to pass on Kane Richardson. All right. Now, next up, we've got Jafer Chauhan, who comes in at 85k. So he's a bit cheaper than Kane Richardson. Only averaged 5 from his 2 games. There's a leg spinner. And they've got, who else have they got that can bowl spin? They've got Jafer Chauhan, Todd Murphy, and Ben Menenti. I reckon on a spinning Sydney wicket, he could do well. All right, I think he can do better than his 5 average. 5 average, he should be about 10k or so. Anyway, but he's one that I will consider for my side. All right, same with Todd Murphy, but he comes in a lot cheaper, 59.5k, average of 22.6 from his 9 games. So he should play, and he is also one that I'll consider just with the spinning Sydney wickets. Ben Ben Menenti comes back from the Adelaide Strikers at 58.5k. Didn't play at all last year. And yeah, he is one. I don't think he gets a game. So for that reason, and even if he does play, I don't think he'll score well enough. So it's going to be a pass on Ben Menenti. All right, and I've put Mitch Perry in here only because he's 39.5k. If you want to loop, I don't think he'll play, but if you want a loophole option, well, you probably want a bowler, batsman, not just a bowler only. So yeah, I'm just going to go a pass on Mitch Perry. All right, finally, on to the big boys, the batting, bowling, the all-rounders. All right, first off, we've got Sam Curran, who comes in at 152k. Didn't play last year. All-rounder, yeah, he probably bats 6, 7, 8 maybe. But he's not going to be available for the start of the season, so yeah, I'm just going to go unavailable. We go UA, that's better. All right. Next, we've got Jack Edwards, who was a very popular pick last year. He comes in at only 113.7k. 43.1 from his 8 games. And yeah, he should bowl his 4 overs. Could be bowling death as well as opening. And he could be batting as high as 3, but he also could be batting 6 or 7 as well. But yeah, has a good role. Bowls, bats on the double. He's one that I'll be highly considering, if not a lock. All right, so yeah, one we should definitely be starting. Another guy, with the injury to Abbott was unavailable anyway. Hayden Kerr, who also can bowl and bat, obviously. He's a bat bowler. And he, didn't even realise he played 8 games last year, but he only averaged 38.3. Might get a bit more of a bowl, get a bit more of an opportunity with the bat as well. He's one that's on my radar as well. So, yeah, consider. All right, Moses Henriques. I'm actually surprised he is a bat bowl. Don't know how many overs he bowled last year, but don't think it was many. But anyway, at 98.7k, 37.4 average from his 9 games. Most of that was from his batting. He'll bat 3-4. He's getting a bit older now. I'm not sure how old he is. He feels like he's been around forever. He's also one that you could consider as well. Just have him for the double and then just trade him out. And then we got Joel Davies, 58.9k with an average of 22.3 from his 3 games last year. He's in their best 11. Yeah, I'm not sure. But I think I will pass there. All right, so that is the Sydney Sixers done. All right, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.